Hello everyone! I am Mercury, also known as the Shadow Trooper, and today I will be playing the game Suzerain. A narrative game that is very unique. I will be playing the base game, and if this does well, I will be playing the DLC, which is impacted by the base game. Now, I will not be reading all of this, all the dialogue that comes up. So, if I did that, then, well, I'd probably be reading less than one act a session. If you are interested in the game, it is good. It doesn't change a whole lot. And I will be playing this mostly blind. I've done a small bit, but never did the full playthrough. But anyways, let's start this. I'll just start with just the opening act, the prologue. And then as we go through this, well, we'll see how this goes. If you enjoy this, like, comment, subscribe, and thank you, Al. I hope you upload this, because this is actually going to be something you can do with low effort, and it's fun for both me and you. Anyways, once this loads up, I'll start reading. You are my enslavement and my freedom. You are my flesh burning like raw summer night. You are my country. 1909, the Kingdom of Swordland. And I know I'm pronouncing it like Swordland. I don't know how it's pronounced. It looks like Swordland, so Swordland. You open your eyes to this world. You came from a wealthy family, a middle-income family, or an impoverished family. Just for this, I'll say I start from a wealthy family. Your parents name you Anton. As the only child of a successful businessman, you have had the chance to grow up in a wealthy family. Life has been easy at first, and you had a good education with the money that you got. However, things inside the family change due to your father's absence and the mother is neglecting you. Starting off strong. During a history class at school, the bell starts to ring unexpectedly. You heard a loud commotion outside. As everyone tries to figure out what's going on, the principal announces the historic revolution. The kingdom is no more. The Republic has been born. Let's see here. Roughly 15. I don't think anyone really understands that. And then I graduate and go to university. Some options. I can go to law, I can go to economics, or I could go to history. I think I will choose economics. During the first year, you attend a lecture with David Whiskey, a teacher and mentor at your university, the son of the first president, the revolutionary, Arthur S. Whiskey. He is a well-known diplomat from the foreign ministry and the son of the president. Well, we figured that out just now. After observing the hall in silence, he explains why a market economy is the best option for Swordland. He argues a system where prices for goods and services are determined by the open and free market. I can see that. Makes sense. Then a soldier comes into the campus a little while later. An event of the first election. Many were shocked, and as the uniformed men created a security cordon and started arresting the teachers. A group of students started to protest along with my best friend, Peter Vector. Call me a coward. I would hide. I am not confrontational. You heard a loud announcement that echoed through the campus. General Ladrician declared martial law in order to restore the administration. Please stand back and disperse back to your rooms. Okay. A nationalist general who led a military coup and declared martial law. I followed what I was told. They must have known what's best. As you entered your room, you heard screaming coming from outside. You try to see. Soldiers locked the doors. That's concerning. Come October, the majority of students and teachers displayed their opposition. Thus, Lechevrin became a target for the military regime. He didn't want to stay idle. Student Council focused on increasing student involvement and partaking in the budgets. Okay. Fits with my role. Through active participation, you gain budget management and leadership skills. Okay. It's good that Peter was able to get out of that without being harmed. And Monica, the love of my life. Her diligence. She mentions she was a volunteer for the Swordish League of Women, an organization on campus for women's rights. I wholeheartedly support her. Political environment changed. I think I will stay out of this. Out of politics. Radio relays that the communist general Ricard surrendered to Lucien and his troops. And his demand... Oh, they surrounded, not surrendered. And demanded their surrender. And demanded the Doricians' surrender. They refused, and fighting broke out across the country. We are plunged into chaos. These clashes blow into a full-blown civil war. The horrors made me isolate for a while. Monica was there to help me. And we grew closer. The chaos has to end, though. The charismatic Colonel Tarkin Sol orchestrates a sudden attack on the capital, where both the generals' forces were battling each other. He defeated them both and ended the war. That's good. A new constitution was written, and the military government began to restore stability. He is seen as a hero. He formed the United Swordland Party and ran as a presidential candidate in the first ever single party election. He saved it. I support him. The USP won the election by a large majority. The military government announced a 4-year restoration period to transform the entirety of the military government, well, the civilian government. After graduation, you kept seeing Monica. You were both interested in marrying and starting a family. However, a letter arrived from the military, calling for you to fulfill your compulsory service. It is time for me to serve my nation. A devastating civil war broke out with our neighbors of Rouen. Republic of Rouen is a young and fragile republic. Okay. And quickly turned into a proxy war. The distinguished Major, Joseph Lancia, orders you to lead your squad on a border patrol mission. It's a very cold winter night, and you begin to march out of Gumrin Outpost. Okay? So cold that you can see your own breath. I'm aware of the fact I'm switching from this being a first person to a third person narration. Just stick with me. I'm reading it and kind of role playing it. After several hours of marching through the snow and snow hills, a distinct sound was heard. The visibility was too low to confirm the source, so the squad crawled forward in formation and found a spot to observe. A group of refugees made it beyond the border fence. I let them slip through. After the patrol, Major Lancia arrives with anger and immediately relieves me of my command. I was a disappointment, apparently. One of your squad members reported my actions. After several months of scrubbing the floors, as punishment, I am finally free of my duty in the military and return back to civilian life. I and Monica decide to share our lives together, and after receiving a blessing from her parents, a ceremony was held. Same year, I started to work and secure a job within the governing party. It was difficult, especially with my refugee incident, but I managed. It's the best opportunity to make change in the country. I become an economic assistant, and, well, that helps. The work is long and hard, investigating hundreds of pages of economics report late into each night. I start to climb the ladder. The president gave amnesty to the remaining factions of the Civil War and chose to de-escalate and appeasement. The institutions and symbols of the kingdom were slowly replaced. His government launched several new initiatives, such as civilian-funded bills, program to relieve the economic, a social labor initiative to help rebuild and improve society, and a large dam projected to solve the energy crisis. The first multi-party election was held, and the president was elected for a second term. A new 5-year plan was launched, and subsequent financial work put me under quite a bit of pressure. But I worked hard, and my contributions to the economic strategy triggered an invitation to meet the president himself. He offered me a key position. I was the youngest member of the assembly. I'd gladly accept. But with youth comes difficulty. Thankfully, my best friend was there to help me. Along with the birth of my son, I have to decide. I will sacrifice my work for my family. In my absence, Peter helped me, thankfully. At the time, President Soul increased his authority over the years, and his growing ego started to affect the party. Now in his 4th term, that's quite something. Well, the cracks are showing. The president was barely able to secure the position. Over the next year, the Swedish people grew increasingly discontent with the corruption and worsening quality of life. The economic growth was slowing down. Oh dear. The party and the Congress started to get louder with their struggles. With his 5th election, there needs to be a change. We have a reformist that stepped up, Edward Alfonso, talented businessman, and the main contender. While in a desperate effort to secure votes before the Congress, the president met with everyone, and he didn't meet with me. Congress was nothing short of impressive. The banner of the United Swedish Party were decorating every possible location. Thousands of influential political figures, lobbyists, and benefactors gathered for this turning point. I could vote for Sol, or I could vote for Alfonso. The stabilizer or the reformist. It needs change. The efforts bore fruit as contentious leadership vote was won by Alfonso. During the Congress, Sol announced he would be retiring from his position at the end of his term, and Alfonso was his vice president. You knew the structure had established would stay. The country had been increasingly authoritarian. I'm glad to see that he's leaving. A month later, my daughter is born, Dina. She motivates you during a tumultuous period in the party. As the vice president and the leader of the USP, Alfonso begins to dismantle the old organizations and the structures that were established, such as the State Educators Corps and the Swordish State Corporation Bill. The general elections were approaching. There was new leadership. I joined the party and campaign with him. During the general election, the main opposition leader was embroiled in a scandal with his secretary. He was replaced by a more popular figure, but the damage has been done. The economic policies and extensive privatization program proposed by Alfonso secured him the election and victory for the party. My time here, I did the best I could to make this a better place. The president saw many reforms in the government and advanced a liberal democratic values. However, due to infighting and disorganized continental economic tensions, fast-track privatization was followed by a severe economic recession. Oh dear. Well, I don't think the party is going to be surviving. But I'm more worried about the economics. Peter's always a good friend, helping me make my presence known. And, well, he's helping me get stronger. You become the face of a new wing of the party. Step by step, with adequate planning, the wing took over leadership as Alfonso lost control. As a rival, I'm not going to blame him for the crisis. I'm not going to bribe and extort those. I'm just going to advise him to step down. It's now my turn. Alfonso has conceded. And now I announce my stepping up as president. After visiting each city and town I can, giving speeches, I desire to preserve the nation's value. Great nation of Swordland. Due to the incompetence of our leadership, enemies, both internal and external, are influencing our glorious nation. Today, more than ever, we need to unite under one flag and protect our values. Gracie Swordland. On election day, millions went to cast their votes. It's time to face the truth. Now, just so you know, I will not actually be having this portrait be up. Instead, I will be having the fun job of editing over this portrait with my character, which will be shown throughout the entire playthrough. But this will be seen in the corner the entire time. So it will also appear in the small little portraits for whenever I am in a conversation. At least I think there's a portrait for my character. If not, well, this is just going to be a fun little visual bit of me just scrolling through the options. And I am just going to show two of my favorite things. We have President Lex Luthor. I think there's one called it. We have Comrade Stalin. Let's randomize it. Oh, wait. Now we have Comrade Stalin. Official Comrade Stalin. This is just a random look I'm deciding. Okay, my promises of what I am going to do. Market economy. Do I align with the capitalist West or the communist East? I will remain neutral. And then we have the immigration issues. We've had strict, we've had relaxed. It will be toughened up for me now. Who do I focus on? Let us focus on law and enforcement. Two weeks have passed since the elections. And now I am about to be sworn in as the 4th president of Swordland. Thousands were watching the inaugural ceremony and cheered my name, Anton Reyes. I will be referring to myself as Murc. The die has been cast, and my story has begun. In the distance, the Maroon Palace stood atop the famous Hill of Pride. I have no way of knowing what the future awaits me there. I look to my family, my son and my daughter, next to my wife. Her eyes were glimmering with pride. I turned towards the key people who made it all possible. Each individual was promised an important position in my government. I can see my previous rival, Mr. Alfonso now. Tarkin Soul was invited, but he did not arrive. As my thoughts slowly faded away, the reality of the situation dawned on me. Orso Hawker, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, was awaiting me. It is time for the time for the oath has come. It has indeed. Please, repeat after me. I do solemnly swear I will respectfully execute the office of President of Swordland, and to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the people and the Constitution of the Republic of Swordland. I may now deliver my inaugural speech. It is an honor. Citizens of Swordland, we are enduring an economic hardship like never before. And today, our nation is falling apart. Our people, we suffer in this dire situation. Our workers are no less productive than a decade ago. Our capable minds are no less inventive. Our products and our services no less requested than they were last week, last month, or last year. I promise you, we will stop this recession and eliminate poverty. It is time to unite, it's time to be united and be a powerful Swordland once again. The cheers. They shouted my name in unison. I felt responsibility, the power, and the burden at the same time. I raised my fist into the air, which triggers the applause. I took a long look at the people of Swordland and burned it into my memory. One of the presidential guards came to notify me that it was time to leave. I made my way to the lead car of the motorcade. The presidential car, a sleek, jet black Cadilla with the flag of Swordland above the front headlights. Next to it was a man holding the door. Hello, Mr. President. It was still euphoric from my speech. Hearing that title made me smile even more. If you allow me to introduce myself, I am Sergey, your new driver. It's nice to meet you. It's an honor. He respectfully bowed his head before he opened the door and gestured me inside. I entered the car. We will be heading towards the palace. On the way, he explained his duties as my driver. I was lost in thought, barely paying attention to what he was saying. Then he wanted me to look out the window. The Maroon Palace. Isn't it beautiful? Every time I look at it, I am reminded of my duty to this nation. So do I, Sergei. It's the beating heart of this nation, after all. Well said, Mr. President. The car drove past the majestic gates, continuing up the hill to the entrance, and stopping out right in front of the front door. He got out and opened the door for me. Have a good day, Mr. President. Amorga Westcor. Referred to the famous swordish phrase from the times of the Revolution. The morning will come. Victory is close. I made my way inside. Extravagant corridors of the palace. Marble and engraved wood finishing decorating the interior. Those footsteps echoed through the colossal hall.